February 28th, 2022 City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. I apologize for the delay tonight. We did have a work session before that started earlier. And this work session dealt with governing body best practices and training for our public officials. One of the things that we talked about, this training was performed by CIRSA, our CIRSA representative. CIRSA is the Colorado Intergovernmental Risk Sharing Association. They're basically our insurance provider. And so part of what they do is they want to make sure that we are following as council members, as a council, following the rules and best practices that we can to ensure that we're doing, representing our community properly. So we performed that training earlier tonight. It took a little bit longer than we expected because there is a lot to learn, especially if you're a new council member. So, it was something that we were able to do this year, and we really appreciate that. That helps us stay on our game. So again, I apologize, but we will move forward. First off, we have the invocation. It looks like Darren's not here, so Galen Burnett, would you do our invocation?
Father, we want to thank you for your love and your work, your blessing and protection upon our city. Father, we're thankful that you've allowed us to live here in this city. You've allowed us to have this city council, the administration. Father, we thank you for them and how they desire to serve our city, serve our area. Father, we pray that you'll just be directing our city council as they discuss the various matters of business tonight. Help them to have insight and wisdom in their discussion and in their decisions. Father, we pray that you'll be pulling our city ever closer to the benefits and to enjoying the perks that you have for your people here. Father, we pray your blessing, your leadership upon our city council, upon our workers in our city. Father, thank you that they had some CIRSA training tonight. Help them to remember that and implement it because we know that will improve our city. So, Father, we thank you, we praise you, and we ask for your continuing work. And we ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Mike, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:09 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Bellamy.
Yes.
Jerry Jenkins.
Here.
Kirk Crespin.
Here.
Oscar Riley.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Anne Marie Frampton.
Here.
Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen McCray.
Here.
Lance Clark.
Here.
Okay, we've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Were there any items that we needed to vote on separately? Anybody see anything?
All right. I didn't.
Okay.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Are there any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. As I mentioned last time, we're here to do city business, so we won't be taking questions during our questions or while we're doing the business. So if you do have anything to speak about right now, it would be your time. Is there anybody who would like to speak to the council? Okay. If you can just state your name and address and.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Belinda Sturgis, 1001 County Road G, Lamar, Colorado. And I just want to pass these out if I can very quickly. I brought some manuals or resource information for you because I wanted you to know why I'm here, why I do what I do, because everybody kind of has different opinions of why they do what they do. So I wanted to take this time to give you information on it so you can make some decisions on it. how to know why I do what I do. Because sometimes I don't even know why I do what I do. I think some of them have tabs for you that need extra tabs. I brought some, oops, I brought some, so you can have them for tabbing what you want to tab. And mark them whatever you want to mark on it. I'm not going to go through and try to cover this, but I just want to read a letter real quickly about why I do what I do. And I thank you so much for having this time to do that. A lot of research has gone on, a lot of things have happened, and I want to make sure that you understand why I'm here. The main reason, I apologize, I'm going to read the letter. I don't have a letter in mind. Do you mind if I borrow yours to read the letter real quick? Thank you. The real reason I'm here is because as a very young child, I was told that you need to help your fellow citizens, you need to support your community, and not only do you need to work, but you need to put in free time to your community. That's part of your duty as a citizen. So you'll find a letter in your packets to say, thank you for allowing me to present the resource manuals to mayor and council. I want to take this opportunity to also explain why I'm involved with the city of Lamar and participate in council meetings. I live outside the city limits, but I have an office in the city of Lamar, and I shop in the city of Lamar, and I have friends that live in the city limits. I've been contacted by citizens I barely know and by friends who have concerns, but are afraid if they bring it to mayor and council, they will be subject to some type of negative response by city code, enforcement, the city police, or other agencies. When they told me of their fears, it greatly disturbed me. The city can't grow and flourish when the community is afraid to communicate with their elected officials. Whether it's a reality or perception, it's interfering with the communications between the city officials and the citizens. So I've encouraged them to reach out to the council and attend city council meetings. Therefore, when they contact me, I agreed to research the petitions, review other areas of concern, and work with them to communicate with mayor and council. I strongly urge mayor and council to consider their fears and work to dispel them and encourage open communications. It's my hope with the assistance of the new city administrator there will be open communications between employees, the city council, between citizens in all levels of the city, and between citizens, city councils, employees, and the new city administrator. It would also be great to encourage citizens to become more involved with attending city council meetings, where they then learn how things work and everything that you're faced with. My goal is to do constructive work for the citizens and mayor and council. I believe we need to educate the citizens on the best way to communicate with the city and encourage them to reach out to you. I believe education and communication is the key to success, and they should never be a fear of coming to a council meeting with an issue. An additional goal is to educate the citizens on the state, federal, home rule, and municipal laws that are used to govern us and make sure the citizens and elected officials work together to follow those laws.
I'll go ahead and allow
Okay.
that to go ahead and finish.
All of this is done on my personal time as a volunteer because I believe we should all do our part to help our local community. In this manual, I provided emails, open record results, and facts that were gathered during my research. I did not include all the information I had due to the sheer volume of it, but I believe what is in the manual will be helpful to you as council members because it demonstrates how communications have occurred in the past. I will be happy to provide any of the information I've researched upon request, and I listed my cell phone number and my name. And if you guys want, I'd be happy to go over, what some of the concerns are, go over a work session with this. So,
Okay.
thank you for the time to present that. And
Thank
I
you.
really, truly appreciate the training that went on beforehand. I think that you guys are really working hard, and I appreciate everything you do, each and every one of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda, I don't know if you're also aware, there's a coffee with Rob that happens on Wednesday
3:30.
mornings. If anybody want to go and speak to him, that's a great time to go and do it.
Well, and I think the other concern is when I tell people they have to go to their ward, go to their council member, some of them don't know where your ward is. And one of my suggestions would be that you put that ward map on the page where all your faces are, so they understand where their ward is. Because some of them go, well, what's my ward, where is it? So then I'd pull it up and send it to them. So anything we can do to help, we'd like to. Thank you.
Well, I think that's some good information that you brought up. I know as the mayor, I've tried to do more outreach with the community ever since I started back in 2019. I know the council has brought up multiple ideas on how to do more outreach. We've had discussions as far as the council breakfast that we do monthly. We changed that to doing a picnic. We changed it to doing a dinner. We changed it to doing a lunch at one point. Now we have the, coffee with Rob every Wednesday morning, so you can meet with the city administrator. We're gonna have a discussion here in a little bit about the council. Usually it's a breakfast, but this year we're gonna do a dinner, or this month we'll do a dinner. So we'll have that discussion here shortly. It's between that and our social media that we've been being more active with. We have a communications director with Martha Alvarez Baird. I know my office door is always open at the bank as well as any place else. I'm not sure what else we could do. I mean, there's so many things that we try to do to open the door. And we're only 7 people here in a small town of less than 8,000 people. Most of us know everybody in the community or knows most people in the community. And we're very approachable. We've all been very approachable. And a lot of times we get approached at church, when we're at Walmart, when we're walking down Main Street, we get approached. So really, there should be no reason. You have 7 of us to choose from. If you wanted to come and talk to us, feel free to give us a call. Feel free to, doesn't matter what ward you're in. If you're in the wrong ward, we can either advise you to, go speak to such and such council member. But really, any one of these council members have contacted me with various issues and concerns, everything dealing with for weeds, to multiple dogs in a house, to major violations in the city charter or city issues or anything like that we've seen. So there should be no reason why anybody should feel hesitant on contacting us. And I hope that we can fix that in the future moving forward. We'll take your recommendations under consideration and we'll try to make that happen more often.
Well, some of them are younger, and I
Yeah.
think they're just not real educated, so I think they're more intimidated than anything.
Yeah.
I think if we could get them here, maybe even have an event, like a training event for them here, a training council meeting, they wouldn't feel so intimidated. Just an idea.
All right.
I have many friends around my age.
Yes, those.
Thank me for coming and speaking up on issues because they literally are too afraid to. I don't know if it's as much educated as probably is, but they're very intimidated to come speak their mind.
Well, and for the last year and a half, we've been broadcasting this on Facebook. We leave it open for people to make comments, suggestions, recommendations. We have Messenger that's right there with the Facebook where they can click on it and send their questions and concerns. So they can also do that as they go. But, we've done that for that purpose, so to open those doors, and hopefully we'll get more use of it. So, all right, was there anybody else that would like to speak to the council? Okay, if you can tell us your name and address.
My name is Brent Bates. I live here in Lamar. More so, I had a request for Lance. I was wondering if you could get to me via email, whether it's the charter or the code or the rule of law that states the citizens are not allowed to ask questions post-public session. I just wasn't able to find it. I'm sure you could probably bring that up as the city attorney. And then my other recommendation to the council and mayor is that if that's something that's going to continue, I'd recommend getting the agenda on the website a little earlier than an hour before, a couple hours before the meeting. A lot of people also don't know, and so as an educational point, citizens, you can request the agenda the week before from Brenda Van Campen. So that might be a good idea, and I'd really like to get that information. Thank you.
Good comment. Okay. Do you think you can find that, or I don't know what we have? I think some of that may just depend on, but we'll find it. We'll find that and get that info.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay. We will move on to the next item on the agenda, unless there's somebody else that would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda. Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to the city treasurer's report. Kristen?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have put in your packet the fourth quarter 2021 financials. Keep in mind, these are unaudited, and they don't have the accrual entries entered into them yet, so the numbers are going to change some, and you'll get to see the final numbers when we present the audit to you. So, but if you have any questions or comments at this point, I would be glad to take them. It was just for your review where I'm at in the financial at this point. So,
Okay.
and that was all I had tonight.
Okay, do we have any questions from the council to the city treasurer?
On the airport, does that include FAA funds?
Most of it, I'm still gathering some, so that'll happen in the accrual entries when I make those. So there is some that's still outstanding that you don't see in there. just reimbursements from FAA in some places,
Okay.
so. mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for the city treasurer? Okay.
Thank you.
Seeing none, we'll move on to the city clerk's report.
And I have no report tonight.
Okay. Any questions for the city clerk? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the city administrator.
All right. Hey, we mentioned a couple times already about the Coffee with Rob. I've had increasing participation. Really, it's fun sometimes. You know, it's not always about the really serious issues. Sometimes they like talking about the fun stuff that happens in the city. And thanks. Every once in a while, I get a letter or two saying, "Hey, thank you, good job." So come on up and I'll buy you coffee and we'll sit down and talk. And if you're nervous about coming up and don't want to talk to the mean guys up here, you can come talk to me, and I'll break the ice and I'll make sure we get it to them real quick. But it's just another opportunity for everybody to have access to the issues that are ongoing in the city, and I like doing it, so it's a good thing. I go to the Truck Plaza. They got the Circle of Knowledge out there. You guys will come out and meet a lot of neat people out there. We got the Hickory House, and I got a different name for some of those guys out there, but they're a lot of fun out there too. And then McDonald's and Pit Stop. So come see me. Got 4 different meetings because we got 5 of the different Wednesdays this month. So we'll have a lot of time with the citizens. And anybody else who I haven't put on the list that wants and can handle about 10 to 12 people to show up and talk, just if you want to get on that list, come talk to me and I'll get you on there and we'll try to come out. You got to be open at 7. So anybody else who wants to speak, come on. Let me see. We did mention the council dinner on Wednesday, March the 2nd. We don't have the time or the location specified yet. So I would like if you guys could give me your best bet, and I will try and make that happen tomorrow.
So the last time we did it, we went to La Lupita's. Do you have any recommendations on the next one, or?
I don't think I was here for the dinner one, though, was I?
No, it wasn't really a dinner. It was more of a meet and greet, social business after hours type.
Okay.
Where it was a come and go, and we did have hors d'oeuvres and drinks, but, refreshments. So we can do a similar thing. We just need to find a location, I'm sure.
Las Brisas.
Well, I was gonna bring up another item that we'll be doing at Las Brisas, so if we can rotate and have that way we're not putting it all in one for the month.
One area.
How about
Becky's.
Becky's?
Just Becky's.
We haven't done anything with Becky's for a long, long time, so we could.
Are they opening evenings?
Are they open like 6:30?
I believe, right?
Yeah, 6. Just do it at 6.
We haven't done anything there for,
Becky's at 6?
yeah, we did council breakfast. It's been over a year.
Okay.
So if you can check on that one.
I will. Brendan and I'll get that one. And do you have a secondary just in case they say no or don't want to do that? I don't think they would. But you have a secondary? I like
You have a
having an
secondary?
alternate.
Hickory House.
Oh, okay. And that's really fun there too.
Okay.
And room. That'll be secondary. All right. Warning, daylight savings time. My wife will tell me that she does not like daylight savings time, but it's happening. March 13th, springing forward. So spring forward, flow back. Get ready for it. And I guess the next thing we're going to talk about is board vacancies. Now, I'm not asking for decisions here. I just want you guys to realize that there are a lot of boards that have the vacancies are open now because of February, their terms ended, and we have to have those boards recommend something to the council and you guys approve. So, for instance, there are 2 on the Parks and Rec Board that need to be either reconfirmed or added. You got 1 on the Library Advisory Board, 1 on Planning and Zoning, 2 on the Tree Board. Got a Tree Board. That's pretty neat. I did hear about that one before, though. Lamar Historic Preservation Advisory Board. Those are 3-year terms, and we need 3 of them. So there's quite a few boards here, and I will make copies of this here and give it to everybody for you guys, so you guys know if you have anybody who talks to you who wants to get on and can qualify.
How are they soliciting for those positions?
What's that?
How are people finding out, or are they doing?
They're all listed,
And we
and we advertise for openings.
Are these boards
actively seeking people
Mhm.
in the public?
That's what, and when I say, you say actively seeking, we advertise, we put it out there and say, hey, if you want to be on this, but I mean, it's not like door to door or making phone calls, that kind of thing.
And really, these boards are the ones that give us the recommendations. I mean, they're all advisory boards, from the water board that gives us advice on what we should do, whether or not we should do restrictions or changing the rates, all the way to the airport board that gives us recommendations on what they need for the transportation out there. But these boards are very vital, and especially when we get into planning and zoning, like our planning and zoning board, who does make some decisions, recreation department. So there's quite a few different boards, and I would think that if you're interested in getting involved in the city and don't have a lot of time but would like to learn a little bit more about it, or you're not comfortable, these boards are an excellent way. And that's how I started. I was back in 1992, I joined on the airport board and was on that for a while. But just getting involved a little at a time really helps.
On our website, we have the vacancies, but if you call up here and talk to me or Brenda, we'll give you whoever and how you do the application and go to the first board meeting where they're going to recommend, the next one comes up to the council to approve.
Okay.
Yep.
Just a thought, Rob, can we make those shareable on Facebook? It seems like a lot of folks tend to hit Facebook, and
I think-
maybe people can start sharing those on Facebook.
Yeah,
Have you done
Martha?
that before?
I think so. That's not going to be
That'd be an easy one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next, let's see, projects update. Not all the projects we're doing in the city, but a few of them. One is, if you remember at the last council meeting, we talked about the LCC renovation of the motel over there, and we got to it pretty quickly on a lot of that stuff, and we still have some more detail coming in for some further work. But I guess you could see in the next day that the city is willing to help, and we like making it look better, and we want everybody to succeed, and especially the kids, man, because you gotta put it into the kids that are coming up. So I think that you can see a success story there, and we're gonna continue that. Because the detail didn't get done until Friday, or some more of the planning, I will be bringing that back to you. I'd said I was gonna come back to you with some more, but we do have more detailed planning information to how many dumpsters we're gonna need and how much, material we're gonna be using, that kind of thing. So I will have that at the next meeting for you guys.
Hey, Rob?
yeah.
Question for you.
Uh-huh.
Now, where are we at with the roll-offs? Because I know we left off somewhere with the roll-offs.
Oh, that's what I was talking about.
Oh,
We didn't
okay.
know how many and how, that kind of stuff. The amount of money it was gonna cost is something. Once I find out how many, I work with her on how much money we're gonna need to take care of that. So I'll get that to you at the next.
Okay.
The Tesla stations, did you want to talk about that? I did get that handout out to everybody.
Yeah, I know this was a project that, we had handed this out earlier. This was a project that we talked about and approved the lease agreement last year. Part of the infrastructure that we were working with, and we discussed about the need for something in southeast Colorado for level 3 charging and for EV cars. We had discussed the Tesla supercharger. That was passed, I think it was like 8 or 9 months ago. And now they are finally at a point where they've submitted for their permits. You have a copy of the layout, the design, and where it would be at, which was on the previous packet. But this gives you a little bit more details. We wanted to give you an update since they'll be breaking ground within the next probably 2 weeks. So before the next meeting, you'll probably see them starting to break ground to do that. So this is just another step that we had talked about. There's the Tesla superchargers that would be coming in, and then shortly thereafter, within a month, we should be getting the charge superchargers as well. So there are 2 different types, and that's the whole point, was to modify and enhance our multimodal facility, which is the train station, the train depot. We have the Mustang service there, we'll have EV charging there, we have the train service there, the PATS bus picks up there, so we're trying to make that more of a transportation hub. And we try to put all of these in the downtown area so that people can walk around and shop and enjoy our downtown area while they wait to charge their vehicles. So I didn't know if anybody had any questions, but we wanted to at least fill you in and let you know what the status was so far.
So I'm a little confused by the way the parking spots are
They
aligned.
back in. So the slants, is that what you're talking about? The slants are reversed rather than going, I guess that would be left to right, they go right to left. And the reason why is because the vehicles back in to charge, so as you're coming on the right-hand side of the street, instead of just taking a left and going in, you would actually go forward and then back into it because most of the vehicle have their charging ports on the back end of the vehicle, so that's where
Combat parking.
that comes in. Now, the charge point chargers that we had discussed, it's a different location. It's in the back where the current charge point chargers are, but that one will have a drive-through more for trailers and trucks that may be carrying an RV or a trailer. That'll have kind of a slide right up to it on the left side, so. And we'll have those designs to you later to look at.
So this parking is out on the island on the north side of the parking lot of the
Train station?
train station?
This is right across the street from Desiree's. Right now, nobody can park there as of right now because it's the bus stop. So it has a reservation, no parking in that whole area. So we're taking an area that was reserved no parking and we're continuing to keep it as no parking because the Mustang service tends to park on the inside of the parking lot on the north side of that. So we'll just move the bus parking on the opposite side, and that would take the spots of those that are already not being used. So,
So the bus parking is gonna be in front of the,
in the parking lot of the chamber, on
So there won't
the
be any
south end of the
parking?
parking lot. There's no parking there already.
there's no?
No. Right here in this little section, there's no parking right there. The bus pulls up and pulls in, picks up their passengers and leaves. And they already do that today. So. Okay. Any other questions or anything we can answer? If you think of something, let us know.
Okay. One more positive bit of information, we think, it's still planning, but the self-service fuel thing out at the airport. Last time we'd had an update that we were told we had to pay, and it might be up to $30,000 for a tank because of the regulations. Well, it looks like now if we get a small enough tank that when we do the transfer, we're not going to have to pay for a really expensive additional filtering because we already do it to get into the tank and then move it to the truck and then back to the small. So we think we're going to save some money on that. And I believe that we'll get some type of answer this week on that from he had to talk to FAA for some reason. I don't know why, but we should have good news on that one and it will save us a lot of money. And I guess to get to miscellaneous, anything else that you guys have any questions or would like information to come back to next week? Projects to be included on the next report?
Well, we could talk about the one thing that you and I had discussed. I can just bring that up now
Yeah.
so we can
Yep.
have that discussion. About a month ago, I brought to the council that Rob and I had met with the city administrator and the mayor. I had invited the new mayor from La Junta to come to Lamar. And we had a discussion. We discussed on different ways that we could work together to help assist each other, to make Southeast Colorado stronger and moving forward. I brought that to the council and we discussed it. And one of the ideas that came out of that was trying to set up a time for our two councils to get together and have kind of a joint work session on things that we could do to work together. Well, they have met on it, and they did pick a date that they would like to come to Lamar, and that's up to the council here if we can make this work. They were looking at March the 16th for lunch. We could do this at Las Brisas, and I've already asked Rob to just tentatively put a reservation there in their back room, so that way we would have enough room for us to speak and have an open discussion about how we can work together with La Junta. But mainly, it's just more of a socializing and getting to know one another. The council in La Junta, they have a lot of the similar challenges that we have here with housing, job retention with other outside agencies. They have a lot of struggles with homeless, growing struggles with homeless, just like we do. So being in Southeast Colorado, we have a lot of the same concerns and areas of issues. So we thought it might be good to get our two councils together and just have some open dialogue. We've had this happen back when Roger was the mayor. We all took the Pat's bus and drove over to La Junta for a dinner and did the same thing, but that's been quite a while, so I wanted to do that. What's the council's thoughts?
Yes.
What do you guys think?
The 16th will work for me.
It'll be a lunch, so.
I had already talked to him about it. Make sure.
I was anticipating maybe like 2 hours just for lunch and a discussion and just kind of keeping it light.
Mayor, just a reminder that we will be publishing this as a work session, so, you know, we won't have a lot of spaces at that table with our councils, but they are welcome to come to the building and listen in if they really want to, so.
You're right, we would be doing that, publishing it as a regular work session, so, a joint work session.
Works for me, yeah, I'm available.
Are you good, Anne Marie? Oscar? I know you had some work to do.
What time is gonna go start?
11:45?
12 to 2,
Yeah.
11:45 is what we reserved it for, just for people that may come early. But 12 to 2 was the intent.
Go for a while.
Okay. Jerry?
Fine.
Mike?
I'm good.
And Joe said he was good?
I'm available.
So we'll finalize that with them and we'll get it published to let people know that we're doing that joint work session. But I think it's a good step just to try to work together. There may be things that we can do.
There's a couple of things with the city administrators have talked about, cost-sharing things that we'd like to bring up and talk to the councils about. So there are a couple of things I think we can help out.
Okay. All right. Aside from that, you know, I just want to reiterate again, I know we're beating this over the head with everybody, but, you know, we have the work sessions that are open for questions, public and answer, you know, interaction. That's what work sessions are for. We have town hall meetings. We haven't had a town hall meeting for a while, but I'm sure we will be here shortly. We have these dinners that we do, the breakfasts that we do. We have breakfast with Rob. So if you really want to interact with the council, there's many, many ways. Give the city a call. I'm sure Linda at the clerk's office can give you direction, or Rob at the administrator's office, but, you know, please reach out and find out. There should be no reason why we couldn't have these interactions. I get emails all the time of random questions and thoughts, so please utilize those opportunities. All right, anything else, Rob?
No, sir.
Anybody have questions for Rob?
Dinner is Dutch Street?
No, I think they've already agreed to treat us. They want to return the favor immediately.
No.
No, so no, we're not going to split. We're going to pay
Oh,
for
you mean
them.
this Wednesday?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday we pay for
If
it.
a citizen comes, we're not buying dinner.
no. It's Dutch. We're not buying everybody's dinner.
Yeah, we'll have like
I thought you were
snacks
talking about the
or-
council making them pay.
No.
No, it's okay.
We're talking about
Yep,
the dinner, or actually it's a business after hours with council.
I was talking about the other one.
Okay. The council after hours?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, you're correct.
that's a good name, council after hours. Why don't we use that? Business after hours. Okay. All right. Any last questions? We good to move on? Okay. Next item is reports and correspondence from council. Anybody have any reports?
I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Mike?
Oops.
Yes, I do. Since Oscar doesn't, I might as well take up his time slot. So LPI met today. They are going to have their work plan out for 2022, so everybody can know what they're planning on working on for this year. They have a planned work session on the 21st to try and finish up their 501c work plan. They're gonna also have another meeting about the wayfinding plan. And they had a question for the city council about if there was any progress on the vacant building plan that the city was gonna implement.
Right. And it was tabled, and we haven't brought that back up, but we have had discussions about wanting to bring that back up. So now that Rob's settled in, I guess that would be a good one to bite into. And we were looking at a vacancy ordinance for commercial buildings.
That's right.
That's what I got.
They're having their gala went off just fine. They made some, great relationships and everybody had a lot of fun. And tentatively, they're scheduling it again for the 3rd of December next year. This year, I mean. The Main Street, I gave out flyers to the Main Street Open Golf Tournament. There'll be 18 teams, 4 persons on a team scramble. It's $400 per team entrance. And tentatively, they're planning $2,000 in prizes. And so there's gonna be possible merchandise for sale at that event, and that'll be on June the 11th, 2022. They're also looking for a sponsorship opportunity. There's another flyer there for that to sponsor the Main Street. Have a whole breakdown of what you get. Businesses can sponsor, and you get your name on several different shirts and merch during these tournaments. And what was the other? There's some other functions going on. Oh, the corporate cup, and there'll be some, and at the Main Street Open. May is gonna be celebrating Main Street Month. So they're gonna try and pick 10 businesses to go around in Lamar and do short interviews and get those published about Main Street businesses. The Main Street Beat, that is one of those papers that I was handed to you. That's gonna go out in the Lamar Journal quarterly. So it can go out to the public, so the public can see what's going on with LPI. Next meeting is March 28th, which they're gonna do their board elections and the finalization of the work plan. Recycling for plastic is on the 2nd and the 4th Saturday. Of course, LPI is in charge of it on the 2nd Saturday, and the Boy Scouts, I believe, are on the 4th Saturday. And you have to have a recycling bag purchased at Public Works from 103 North 2nd, $4 a bag. And the next one is on, I didn't get that information.
And Saturday.
Second Saturday of this month.
Okay, second Saturday of this month.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and it's from 10 to 2. On Saturdays. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Mike before we move on?
I don't have any questions for him, but I do have a tiny little report. Is fair game now? I'm the representative for the Council on Prowers Economic Prosperity. We met today. I just wanted to remind people that we have a pretty great opportunity to grow capacity in Prowers Economic Prosperity. We're hiring a new associate director. That person would add additional capacity for PEP and help us focus on the projects that we agreed to. We just don't have the staffing to do it right now. Really working on that business attraction and expansion roles. Given that that person has the right mix and blend of skills, that they could end up being our next executive director. Cheryl Sanchez has a plan to retire in a few years, and it would be a great opportunity to grow our own if we found that right person to walk in. So if you know somebody who's interested in economic development, has a background in business, banking, finance, some of those sales, some of those aligned occupations, it would be great to have additional energy and enthusiasm in PEP.
Okay. Thank you. Did you have something, Jerry? Are you sure?
Yes. I'm the liaison for the fire department, but I never really go to their meetings because I don't want to feel like I'm helicoptering over them. But I always do look at Ryan Cook's Facebook or whatever they post, and on the 21st of February, he wanted to shout out to a few of the people that helped him with Engine 2, prepared it for a new job as a Type 1 structural engine, but will also be our initial hazmat response truck. Engine 2 needed to be stripped and put back together with the new equipment loaded on it, and the crew focused on getting the fire suspension and equipment and all the stuff put on. And he wanted to shout out to, and I'm really bad with names, Elsie Crockett, Elijah Nilsson, Dustin Nordyke, and Riley T. Ferteller. And, you know, when you guys see these guys, just give them a big thank you for everything they do for our community.
Great. Manuel, Oscar? Good? Okay. I have a couple of little minor things here. We talked about the La Junta City Council meeting, or City Council work session that we'll do with the joint work session. Another item that I had discussed at the last meeting that I was going to come back and report to is Rob and I did meet on the 22nd or the 21st, I can't remember which it was, with the county commissioners to have a discussion about the 3-mile agreement. As I mentioned to the council at the last meeting, I did print out the master plan for development and planning for the Prowers County that was also done in 2004. Then I printed out a copy of the Lamar Comprehensive Master Plan and provided both of those copies to the county commissioners. It's really not a 3-mile plan. That's not the name of it. It does use a 3-mile range, but this was developed according to the master plan for both the county and the comprehensive master plan for the city when we talk about development, potential annexation. As I mentioned to the county commissioners, this was brought up in 1984 originally. It was a 20-year intergovernmental agreement between the city and the county that was done in 1984. 20 years passed, they received grants and started working on the one in 2004. They redeveloped it, they did the public town hall meetings, they spent a week at the fair taking questionnaires, answers and questions. They had multiple public hearings and did ordinances, and then also did the intergovernmental agreement at that time. So there was a lot of public input on both of these in 1984 as well as in 2004. And in 2004, they created this intergovernmental agreement that was signed by both the county and the city. And it was agreed upon about these regulations. And that is something that is a 20-year agreement that will end in 2024. As I spoke with the county commissioners, we will be meeting in the near future, scheduling a time to discuss on our next steps, because we will need to start working on doing a new master plan for this by 2024. So hopefully this year we can get some direction and start going out looking for some grants, because it will take some grants from DOLA. The last master plan that was created both for the county and the city was paid for by a master plan or by a grant provided by DOLA, Department of Local Affairs. So I'm sure we'll go out and reach out to see if we can find some of those same planning documents. But anyhow, we came, it was more of an educational thing. We learned a little, they learned a little. We're going to bring this back to the commissioners, and we'll try to get something moving forward before 2024 when it ends. So, also, we have 2 items on our agenda tonight, so it's a very short meeting. It's supposed to be a short meeting. We've been talking a bit. But, just to let the council know, we have a lot of items coming up, and let the community know. We have a lot of different items. I think this is kind of the calm before the storm, because as spring is turning around, we do have a lot of items that are coming up, some new developments. We have the soccer fields that we'll be working on, and with some development there. We have the master plan on the wastewater side that we're working on, airport changes. So there's a lot of different projects that are happening in the background, Just hasn't come to the council yet, but you can start to expect that beginning on the next meeting, so we'll start getting more to you. Aside from that, any questions?
Rob, can you please find out where we're currently at with the Dean Smith property? Been asked about that. When he's expected to close or get some type of paperwork or
Okay.
finished up. And also, was we going to set up about a work session for the truck parking?
I'm gonna mention that at the miscellaneous on your new business here, just a minute.
Perfect. That's all I have.
All right. So moving on, we will go to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 1, approve agreement between the City of Lamar and Southeast Wellness for an employee wellness program. This was initiated by Margaret Saldana and Rob Evans. Margaret, I'll let you take over.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. Pardon me. As the agenda item is written, it says that the personnel manual for the City of Lamar has agreed to provide an employee assistance program to assist employees who are having personal or substance abuse problems. And so we've had this Southeast Wellness Works do an employee wellness program for the last 5 years. And so what you're seeing in front of you is the agreement that I'd like you all to review. And if you approve, authorize the mayor to sign the memorandum agreement. One that was in the packet, it's been modified, and I think you should have a correct copy. We do. Okay, so what the Wellness Works, Southeast Wellness Works did give us 4 more counseling sessions. The original agreement had 8, and now it's up to 12. And they also gave us, if we want to purchase more counseling sessions beyond the 12 for the year, so what we would be doing is purchasing $650 worth of counseling sessions for our employees. But if we needed additional sessions, we would be able to purchase those at $50 each. So I'm recommending that we continue using them as our employee assistance program and make that counseling available to our employees.
So is that, our paperwork here still says the 8 counseling sessions, but is the 12 at that same price?
Yes.
Okay. Is that per employee, or is that just 12 counseling sessions and then?
It's 12 counseling sessions, yes. So if there's an employee that needs to go get counseling, that would count as 1 session.
Okay.
So
If
we're
that
just
employee
buying
goes
up.
back 3 or 4 times, it'd be
Right.
4 sessions, or that's just one?
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
So we're
He
just
does-
pre-buying,
I'm sorry.
we're just prepaying for a
We're
bundle of
just
them.
prepaying for the counseling sessions.
And we can buy more sessions
Yes,
along
we
the
can
way
buy
if the
more
employee has a
sessions,
serious
yes.
problem and we need to, okay, I'm just making sure. Thank you.
I move we approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
I don't have any issues with it either. It's a year contract. It's subject to an automatic renewal, and either party has the right to cancel within 60 days. So can be terminated upon written notice.
Okay. Any other questions?
Does the employee have to go to Lahana,
Um,
or do they come here?
I think it's here,
I think they have an office here
They
in
do.
Lamar.
It's out by the hospital.
Yeah.
It's up by the
right
hospital.
on the corner.
I think just their main office is in Lahana.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, next item is miscellaneous. Do we have any miscellaneous business to attend to?
I have 2, if it's okay. One is, we've had some increased interest by additional people for real estate. They were asking about real estate incentives. And I know that they've come up and had a couple of meetings, and it's not developed enough. But I did say that I saw in past history that you guys had a resolution passed where you'd offered some incentives for people to come in, to real estate people, not just business, but for real estate. And I said I would bring up, as soon as I could, which would be at the next meeting, I would try to say, hey, I would propose that you guys either look at it and update it or change it or give me your ideas. But I just wanted to give you guys information that I think it's a good idea to try and either reissue this one or update it.
So we did this in 2020 originally. It was a real estate development incentive plan, the set of agreement, that we set up this plan that had different items that we do as incentives. Basically, they're the same things that we've always done. You know, if they're going to bring in a new building or a new business or a new home, residential home, sometimes, many times, they've worked on negotiating those rates as far as the sewer taps and working with the developers. But this was something we put down on paper, formalized it, so that way it was consistent, even. But also it was a marketing tool for us to use to try to incentivize people to come to Lamar. Come and build houses because we need them. Come and build apartment complexes because we need them. We're in desperate need of housing in southeast Colorado, there's no doubt. So we could bring this back in. What we did is we did the resolution. We did have it end, and so we would just be looking at renewing it after Rob's had a chance to look it over and the council's had a chance to discuss it. So we could do that in a work session, or we could just have it renewed, but it's up to the council.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Is this something that if somebody is a renter and they want to build a home, then they could acquire incentives also?
Yes, anybody, whether it's one house or 5 houses or
Yep.
50 houses.
That'd be better.
The idea is, you know, we're trying to incentivize somebody to come in and build and give them opportunity with, because a lot of times we're going to end up helping them with curb and gutter and things of that nature, but getting the taps there and the sewer lines there, and it could be a good investment, big investment.
It's $5,000 per lot.
Up to 5,000 per lot.
Yeah, some of these people would, you know, it would be better for some others, and I think that we've had one guy that would be very interested in taking advantage of it, so.
So do we need to make a motion to look at this, or?
Oh, I think I
Just
didn't.
direction.
I just think direction, if you guys say, yeah, it's okay, I'll bring it up at the next one. It didn't get developed enough for me to bring it to you as an action item. This is just, I'm telling you that I think I'm gonna bring it up to you for you guys to tell me whether to go further or not. So this is sort of like FYI. I'm telling you, I think it's a good idea. And if you guys don't, you know, give me some guidance, that'll be good.
I'd like to look at it.
Keep moving forward, okay? So if you want to bring it back in next meeting? Is that good? Okay.
All right. Next one, truck parking. Well, we did issue some additional citations, but I do believe that we need to have a work session on updating our ordinance on truck parking, because there are some instances that are, if you want to make sure that you don't have a trailer sitting in a certain part, we need to make sure we specifically write out no trailers. And I think that it needs to say it, not just to assume that everybody understands it. I think we need to actually put it down.
Yeah. Because now that I've been looking around town, as I've paid attention, you do see a lot of semis that are parked. They don't have their trailer attached, or they left their trailer there by itself. But there's some,
Or left it running.
yeah. So there's some questions there that we could, you know, definitely clarify for sure.
But a work session would allow us to determine, you know, what kind of wording, what type of take away from the old ordinance, add to it. But I just think that there's some clarifications that we need. It'll help out on enforcement.
Okay. You guys good with that?
Yes.
Why don't we put both of those on the work session at the next meeting? Can we just
Yeah.
plan a meeting?
You can do multiple items. You can do multiple items.
Okay. So at the next work session, we could do both of those items in a miscellaneous.
Okay.
That way, if we have something beforehand that we need to talk about, we can review. Okay? You good with that? 6 o'clock meeting?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other miscellaneous items? Do we have any miscellaneous items from the audience or from online?
Yeah, I have one question. Somebody asked, do you pay to use the charging stations? How does it pass on?
Well, it depends on the company that is doing it. ChargePoint does, well, actually, all of them would. We don't do anything with that. All we do is we provide the service. So they have their own meter, they pay their own electric bill, they, so for us, it's another business that we're providing electricity to. And they'll be charging to, whatever their fees are, but yeah. So it would pass on. Okay, any other final questions? Anybody from the audience? Nothing else? We do have our next item on the agenda, which is an executive session. This is for discussion of a personnel matter under Colorado Revised Statute, Section 24-6-402, subsection 4, subsection F. This is a discussion with the city administrator to give him some direction and advisement. There will not be any decisions coming out of the executive session, so we'll be ending it directly afterwards. So no need to stay after, and we won't be leaving it running during the broadcast. So we'll end that meeting after that. Aside from that, thank you for attending, and we will see you at the next meeting.
We have a motion to go into executive session.